In order to bring in some trees, we're going to go to the 3D warehouse. And as you can see, there are almost 900 results when you search on 2D tree. So I'm going to search on and filter the most liked. And I'm looking for ones that kind of look like drawings. And my intention is to download them. And you're using SketchUp 15, I'm using 8. So you can select the correct one for your uses. And I'm just saving them to my downloads bin. I'm going to collect a deciduous tree here, and then a fir tree or a conifer, because we have both in Southwest Ohio. I don't see anything that has that same drawing style, but we're going to change this so much in the end that it really doesn't matter. I'm looking for the shape and their proportion. So we might try and find one more here. And you can do this as many times as you like, but remember the 2D versions are much smaller than the 3D versions, and there are two types of 2D images you can download. One follows the camera as you orbit, those are the ones that we want, and others do not, so you might check that out. It's not always obvious. I believe that the three that I'm downloading here are going to suit our purposes. So I'm going to zoom back into the SketchUp view, and I'm going to start importing these 2D trees, which are in my downloads bin. Can you hear the train outside? Okay, so I'm going to import these, and they come in at a A scale, and you can see that these two conifer trees are quite small. Probably not the correct scale, so I'll show you how to manage that. We're going to click on the corner, issue the scale command, and pull up on it until it feels just about right. Remember, your project is 10 feet tall at this point, and so these trees, I'm trying to get them up to about 20 or 25 feet. These would be mature trees. And then the next thing to do is to orbit around, make sure they're not floating above the ground, which in fact they are. So I need to move these down. I'll just grab the bottom of one of these elements and just kind of stick it to one of the faces of the topography. Now you'll notice that these trees no longer are pleasing looking. They are just blue, just like the cube. And we're going to fix that in a moment. I'll show you what the trick is there. So don't be alarmed if this happens to you. But before we do that, let's import a deciduous tree. And one strategy for importing Entourage in this case is to use all kinds of different trees. But again, we're going to ultimately be drawing on this by hand. It doesn't particularly matter what this tree looks like at this stage. We're looking again for its proportion and its height or its scale. So I'll show you what I'm going to do instead of bringing a bunch of different images in. I'm going to copy these two basic tree types around and scale them. So again, I'm copying it, positioning it where I want it. I'm going to issue the scale command and make it a little bit larger in this case. Moving it into position, thinking always about my drawing and what it's going to look like. So I'm making the trees work to that priority. Okay, so as you can see, these trees are positioned in a good place, and of course we would repeat this technique over and over and over again until we fill up the site with trees. Alright, so this is how we turn things back on. We've got our layer, we go look at this. If we click on this button over here, we can say right now it's colored by layer. If we unclick that, then you can see that the site turns a kind of pale blue color, the component is white and the trees are as they should be.